My beautiful viewers, today's beautiful and perfect series is called Olympo. At its heart, it's about ambition, rivalry, and survival in the world of elite young athletes. But within all the chaos of training, pressure, and competition, there's a quieter story. One that's tender, complicated, and unforgettable. It follows Zoe, a new athlete with a difficult past, who reunites with Jenifer, someone she already knew from her past. Their history doesn't start out as them being strangers or even as friends. It's far more layered than that. And as the season unfolds, the connection between them becomes one of the most heartfelt storylines in Olympo.
¿Te has perdido? Soy Nuria, encantada. A ver, dame el brazo. Yo diría que haces heptathlon.
¿Y tú qué haces? Sumo.
Ven, que te hago una visita guiada por el zoo.
We first meet Zoe during a training session with her best friend Yeza. The two of them are inseparable, pushing each other harder with every practice. That day, Zoe breaks an important record, something that feels like the start of a brighter future. Just as the excitement settles, two representatives approach them with a surprising offer, an invitation to train at Olympo, the prestigious high-performance center. Zoe is caught off guard by the news. She isn't sure what to think, but Yeza reacts with pure joy. For her, this is the dream they've both been working toward, and she insists that they celebrate. That celebration, however, takes a tragic turn. On the way back, an accident happens, one that changes everything. Yeza, Zoe's closest friend and anchor, doesn't survive. For Zoe, the moment is shattering. Olympo is no longer just an opportunity. It becomes a place tied to loss, guilt, and a future she never planned to face alone.
Hola.
¿Qué tal la semana afuera?
Bien.
¿Recuperada?
Sí, estoy bien. Mira, te presento a Zoe, es nueva.
Hola.
Y este es Roque.
Encantada.
Zoe, si Amaya te mira raro, no te lo tomes personal, ¿eh? Que cuando está concentrada pone esa carita de gordo.
Sí, tú. ¿No me vas a saludar ni nada?
Jennifer.
With Nira by her side, Zoe is slowly introduced to the leading athletes at Olympo. Nira's friends are confident, talented, and already settled into the rhythm of the high-performance center. Zoe, on the other hand, stands on the outside, trying to fit in, but always feeling the weight of being the newcomer. She forces a smile, says the right words, but deep down she knows she doesn't belong, not yet, and then it happens. Across the compound, Jenifer passes by. Without hesitation, she calls out Zoe's name loudly enough for everyone to hear. The sound cuts through the crowd, pulling Zoe's attention immediately. Not surprisingly, Zoe calls her name back, her voice steady but edged with something sharp. It isn't warmth, and it isn't nostalgia, it's salt. Their first exchange is brief, almost careless, but heavy with unspoken history. To the others, it might seem like nothing, but for Zoe, that single moment brings the past crashing back.
¡Cuidado!
¿Estáis bien? Va, no pasa nada. Venga, arriba, va.
Joder. ¿Está bien?
Zoe's natural talent quickly shines through at Olympo, but her lack of discipline holds her back. She often skips training, falls behind, or makes excuses, which frustrates her coach, who constantly pushes her to do better. One afternoon, Zoe pulls her usual trick, lying down in the middle of the road, pretending to be too tired to continue. At that very moment, Jenifer, a determined cyclist racing her teammates at high speed, almost crashes into her. To avoid Zoe, Jenifer swerves, loses control, and crashes hard off the road, injuring herself. Furious, Jenifer confronts Zoe about her careless behavior. Their argument starts sharp and heated, but instead of growing into hostility, it unexpectedly flips into a charged and playful tension between them. What begins as frustration slowly melts into a spark neither of them can ignore, marking the first moment where their rivalry begins shifting into something much deeper.
Yo tengo una. Zoe, ¿con quién te liarías? ¿Con Sebas o con Jenifer?
¿Tengo que decir con cuál primero?
Sí, ¿qué preferiríais? ¿A Amaya de entrenadora o de novia?
Just when Zoe's new life at Olympo seems to be settling into some kind of rhythm, tragedy strikes. Nira, the girl who had first welcomed her, is one of the center's top synchronized swimmers. During an intense practice session with her best friend and partner, Amaya, something goes terribly wrong. In the middle of their routine, Nira suddenly slips under the water. By the time the coaches and teammates rush to pull her out, she's unresponsive. Panic fills the pool, and Nira is rushed away in critical condition. The entire training center falls into a heavy silence. The athletes, once caught up in their rivalries, are now united in shock and fear for Nuria's life. But the tragedy doesn't stop there. Amaya, shaken and devastated, starts to question how this could have happened. She suspects it wasn't just exhaustion or an accident. Soon, whispers spread that Nira might have been caught up in doping. Her suspicions reach the anti-doping administration, and before long, agents arrive at Olympo to conduct strict investigations and drug checks. The news sends shockwaves through the compound. What began as a place of discipline and hard work suddenly feels like a pressure cooker. Everyone is on edge, fearing exposure, punishment, or the truth being uncovered.
Normal, ¿qué quieres? No me quiero ni imaginar lo que ha tenido que ser para ti volver a entrenar, volver a tu vida, volver a todo después de... Hostia, después del accidente de Yaiza.
But not to spoil everything for you, the anti-doping administration eventually runs tests on the athletes, and many are removed from the Olympo, including Jennifer. I know that might sound like a bad ending, but what truly kept me hooked was the shift that happened with Zoe. She starts connecting with her dormmate and teammate in heptathlon, Renata. Something sparks between them, and it feels like the beginning of a new story. Hopefully, if there's a season 2, we'll get to see their relationship unfold, and I'll definitely be shipping Zoe and Renata all the way. If you loved how their story was told, I really hope you'll take some time to watch this beautiful series, Olympo. Until next time, that marks the end of this beautiful video. Thanks for viewing.
We touch, we break, make it seem like we feel the same.